absolutely do not lucid dream unless you know how to do these two things first. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you probably already know that lucid dreaming is where you are in a dream and you become aware that you are inside of a dream. You know, lucid dreaming is no different than astral projection. Astral projection and lucid dreaming, the only difference is that with astral projection, someone is aware that they are exiting their body and re-entering their body. You know, there's no difference between lucid dreaming, astral projection, and regular dreaming. I mean, the only difference is the level of awareness. You know what I mean? It's the same thing when you die. You know, the only difference between dreaming and lucid dreaming and astral projection and dying is that with dying, you don't come back to your body. That's the only difference. But the same thing is happening. These are very real experiences, and you should definitely make sure you know how to do these two things before you start lucid dreaming, or especially before you start going around changing things in your lucid dreams, you know, because sometimes you just become lucid and it happens. You know what I mean? So first of all, you need to understand what dreams are. You know, dreams are a reflection of how we're using our mind. When we go to sleep at night, we are closing off our attention to our physical senses, which give us the ability to experience our outer reality. And we are going inward and opening our inner senses to experience our inner reality. I mean, so when you go to sleep, you are experiencing the thoughts within your inner mind, the inner levels of the subconscious mind. You know what I mean? And our thoughts create our reality. So you're gaining tremendous insight into what you are experiencing and who you are going to become. You know what I mean? You have great ability to influence and affect what is going on internally. I mean, when you're changing things within your dream, you have the ability to pretty much do what I call, you know, metaphysical surgery. I mean, you are able to go in and fully extract and transform and transmute negative thoughts and pathways, patterns and habits and lines of thinking and beliefs. You are able to build up, support, strengthen, and expedite the thoughts and beliefs that are positive, that are reinforcing things within yourself and rebuilding things positively that you're wanting to manifest and wanting to become. You know what I mean? So the number one thing that I would suggest that you definitely need to do before going into actively trying to lucid dream consciously at will, you know what I mean, which we can get into and do. It's very simple. It may not be easy, but it's very simple, especially when you know how to do these first two things. The first of which is understanding what it is you're experiencing. You know what I mean? Google can't tell you what your dreams are. ChatGPT and all these other AIs cannot tell you what your dreams are because they are too heavily programmed into providing you insight based upon modern psychology. And modern psychology is, for the most part, 80% a huge miss. I mean, the universal language of the mind is a very ancient tradition, and it is the language that our mind speaks in. So it is going to provide you 100% clarity and accuracy on what your dreams are, what those images fully and truly represent for you. And when you understand this language, it truly is a language. And when you understand this language, then it is so much easier for you to understand what you are experiencing, so that when you do become lucid, you know what I mean, you can look around and fully understand what it is that you are seeing. You know what I mean? If you see a horse running by in a dream, do you know how to interact with that horse? Do you know what a horse truly represents? Do you know what you need to be doing with that horse? You know what I mean? You don't want to mess something up just because you don't understand. You know what I mean? And you definitely don't want to be changing anything if you don't understand what it is you are changing, what it is you are transforming. You know what I mean? When you start messing around with things in your dream, you are messing around with things in your mind, and you are going to see direct results of that once you wake up. And so you need to definitely, I mean, you don't need to, you can do whatever you want, but I would highly suggest that you learn the universal language of the mind. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons why I made the Chitta app, so that you can put in your dreams, record your dreams, and gain that universal language and learn through the app. You know what I mean? You can take the course as well to learn it, but you can learn it just by interpreting your dreams every night through the app. And over time, you will understand and learn and pick up on this language naturally, even without anyone teaching you, because you'll see it. You'll see how it directly reflects into your waking life. You know what I mean? To where half the time after a few months, you'll start to notice how, oh man, you know what? Before I even put this dream in, I already know this represents this, this, and this. And I already know it's talking about when I was kind of emotional and got caught up after work yesterday. And it's talking about that moment. And now how I need to approach it like this now, or I need to shift my perspective to this now. And I can already see how it's going to elevate me, always because you're picking up on the language. It's a very intuitive, natural language. You talk about, we speak it. As you learn this language, you'll see that it's already encoded within our spoken language. The idioms that we use are already fully encoded in the universal language of the mind, because that's how our minds think. All of us, whether you consciously understand how to speak the language or not, you just know. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? Some words in Spanish and English are very synonymous. Like, you already know what that word means, even without knowing. You know what I mean? Automobile, like, you already know what that is. You don't need to fully know Spanish to know. You know what I mean? So anyways, I would definitely suggest that. That way you know what it is you're experiencing. You know what I mean? If you end up somewhere and you do see things that you're not wanting to experience, you'll know how to interact with it better. You'll know what is truly representing and reflecting versus maybe being scared or something. You know, and that takes us to the number 2 thing that I would highly suggest you know how to do before you start lucid dreaming. And this one, I would maybe even make more of a priority than the first, although I probably couldn't even delineate between the two. You know what I mean? Especially when you look at the benefits of the two. I mean, they are both the number 1 and number 2 things I would suggest before lucid dreaming. And they are definitely the number 1 and number 2 things that I would suggest for anyone taking up any sort of spiritual endeavor or self-improvement and transformation endeavor, or just anyone living life. You know what I mean? These are the 2 things that I would suggest for you to do. And the second is strengthen your concentration and your willpower. You know what I mean? Your concentration is your ability to control your attention. I mean, and there's a universal truth. You are where your attention is. So when you are going into a dream, this universal truth is more present and more perceivable within the astral realm, because things manifest so much more rapidly than this slower vibrational physical reality. It's so much easier to perceive the truth in that universal truth, the reality of that universal truth, that you are where your attention is than it is in the physical. So when you move your attention somewhere, you are going to go there. You know what I mean? Places in dreams represent, in the universal language of the mind. What do places in dreams represent? Places in dreams represent your state of mind. You know what I mean? Universal language of the mind is form and function. The form is a place, and the function of a space, this space functions to give me a place to exist. You know what I mean? Wherever you're watching this video, the space that you are in functions as a place to exist. That place where you are at gives you a space to exist. So it will represent the space within your mind. You know what I mean? The form and function. How does that function relate to the mind? So the space within your mind, your state of mind. What kind of state of mind are you in right now? Are you in a learning state of mind? Are you in a receptive state of mind? Are you in an agitated state of mind? Are you in an anxious state of mind? Are you in a fearful state of mind? Are you in an excited state of mind? Are you in a respectful state of mind? Are you in a confrontational state of mind? Are you in a jealous state of mind? Are you in a festive state of mind? You know what I mean? What state of mind are you in? And you can easily shift between these different states of mind, just as you can easily walk through different doors of a room or walk out of a building and into another building, from one place to another. You know what I mean? We can easily move through these doorways into these different states of mind. And so when you're in a dream, when you're going from place to place, it is a reflection of your state of mind. You know what I mean? One dream that I see very often and early on with a lot of people, and especially people who have like a lot of anxiety, you'll notice whenever a lot of them don't remember the dreams, but when they do, is jumping from here to here to here to here to here, because your mind, while you're awake, remember your dreams are a reflection of how you're using your mind. Your mind, when you're awake, is moving from here, this to that, to this, to that, to this, to that. You know what I mean? You're just scattered all over the place. So your dreams are going to be just as scattered. But anyways, when you're in a dream, in a lucid dream, your level of control over your attention is going to determine your level of control of where you go inside of the dream. So if you want to move somewhere with conscious intention within the dream, your ability to do so is going to be in direct correlation with your ability to control your own attention while awake. So that's why also in the Chitta app, I have the 5-day 5-step exercise. It's labeled as a memory exercise, but truly it's a concentration exercise. It's especially one designed very well for lucid dreaming. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So the concentration is very key, because if we want to go somewhere, we have our level of control over our attention is going to determine how well we will have the ability of doing so. If we are in a lucid dream and we end up somewhere that we do not want to be, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people sometimes ask me about, well, yeah, I tried astral project. I had this lucid dream and then I ended up in this place and it was scary and this happened and it's all this and that and this. What do I do in those times? I didn't know what to do. I was scared. What does this mean? Is what a lot of people say. What does it mean? You know what I mean, it's not necessarily what does it mean? What do you need to do? But yes, what does it mean? That's where the universal language of the mind, understanding that, is going to come in. But when you're in the thick of it, it doesn't matter what it means. It's what do I do? You know what I mean? When you're in the thick of it, once you wake up, then you start to contemplate, you know, when you realize you're safe and you're in your bed, you're in your room, everything's fine. That's when you start to contemplate, what does this mean? But when you're in the thick of it, you're like, oh shit, what do I do? And you aren't able to do anything unless you are able to have some level of control over your attention. Because if you are where your attention is. So if you are able to consciously move and control your attention and direct it somewhere where you want it to be, then you will be able to move and direct where you are going to go. You know what I mean? It's like having a steering wheel in the astral realm. And so that's why like a Chitta exercise is one of the first ones that I give the one that I highly suggest in the Keys to Success course, which teaches you how to strengthen your concentration and willpower. You know what I mean? A Chitta exercise is definitely going to give you lots of practice of you realize you're distracted. You tell your attention exactly where you want it to go. You could end up doing it 10, 20, 40, 80, 100, 50, 200, 150, 200 times within a 10-minute span, because the exercise goes for 10 minutes. You know, you can do it for however long. I just suggest for 10 minutes. But anyways, you are going to have plenty of moments of telling your attention what to do. After days and days and days and weeks and months of practice, you will have a strong level of control over your attention, to where when you are in a dream, you can know where you want to go and move there. You can identify where you are at. And if it's not somewhere you want to be, realize this isn't where you want to be and direct your attention somewhere else. And energy flows where your attention goes. You are where your attention is. So as your attention moves somewhere else, boom, you're there. This also helps with astral projection. A lot of people, they teach astral projection using this principle in mind. You are where your attention is. They'll say, put yourself across the room and just visualize what it would look like looking back at your body. You're putting your attention over there across the room and perceive. And so you are where your attention is. You're naturally going to shoot out of your body, depending on the level of control that you have over your attention. How strong is your concentration is going to determine how well results that you get from that. And then by naturally practicing concentration, you'll have willpower. And willpower is making a conscious choice towards something and having unceasing, continuous, relentless action until the ideal is achieved, until you make it to what you are wanting to produce. And so using your willpower, the level and strength of your willpower is going to determine how fast and rapid of results you will have. You know what I mean? I can use my concentration to place myself back at my body and go back to my body, and it will happen depending on the level of control of over my attention. But depending on my willpower, that will determine how fast that happens. Because in the fourth dimension, time is no longer, we're not locked in time. In the third dimension here in the physical reality, length, width, and height, we're still locked in time in this present moment. We cannot go into the past. We cannot go into the future. In the fourth dimension, where the astral realm is, where our dreams occur, we're able to freely move through time just as freely as we can move through this area in physical reality. You know what I mean? And so the time is going to be determined. The time it takes for things to happen, for things to manifest, is going to be determined by your willpower. And so that's why a concentration exercise and having control over your concentration and willpower is the second thing that I would highly suggest before anyone tries to consciously lucid dream. Otherwise, you're going to be practicing getting into a vehicle that you have no way of steering. You know what I mean? It's like telling a 10-year-old to get into a car without a steering wheel and tell them to just stand on the gas pedal, you know what I mean, to see where you go. It's not going to end well. You know what I mean? So be responsible and be disciplined and care for yourself and give this importance. This is an important endeavor. This isn't just something willy-nilly to silly and play around with. You know what I mean? Although it is tons of fun, but give it a purpose, because the more purposeful that you will be, then the more disciplined that you will be, and the more results that you will find, and the more benefit that you will experience, the more you will transform your life and yourself. You know what I mean? Purpose is your personal benefit. So how will you personally benefit from doing these things? And if you understand the first two principles that I talked to you about you understand the universal language of the mind and concentration and willpower, then there is tremendous benefit that will apply to every single aspect of your life. So please, please do not go trying to lucid dream until you have these foundational disciplines within your life.